Well, what's going on? How are you?
Just got back from a little Christmas down in Boise, watching these bowl games. Happy holidays, everybody. How was your Christmas?
Oh, good. We did a little fishing over the weekend. It was pretty fun up at Georgetown with a couple of the boys. It was a good time. Some decent football been on lately. There was some football during the day. I don't know if today, during the work day, I don't know if you caught it.
Oh yeah, a little Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, it was actually a great game.
It was. I was gonna go through the bowl mania here. Dude, did you watch any of the Pitt East Carolina game?
Dude, I did not. And Pitt was like my 40 something. I think they were my 40. 10.5 point favorites, I think, going into the game, and then just did not look good at all. I mean, they looked fine, but they ended up losing, I guess.
Yeah, it was my 39 too, because they were like 14-point favorites or whatever. And then um I've been like doing research to see who's opting out. East Carolina's QB, running back, and wide receiver one all opted out, and Pitt had like a full team, and East Carolina like honestly just kind of smoked them.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that, honestly. Like I said, that was my 40 pointer, so I put Pitt way up there.
Oh, and
But
what's
there's
the
been some
last?
other good ones.
Yeah, there was. Let's see. Let me go through.
Dude, I'm doing pretty good in the Bullmania.
Dude, you're making a push. You're up high.
Yeah,
Have
and
you
I have a lot of points left.
have you seen
I've
the?
won I've
Go
won
ahead.
the
Go ahead.
last 8 straight.
Imagine parlaying that.
Yeah.
And we were both high on you liked Ohio last pod, and we got a little worried because the coach was in some issues. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it was like
Uh,
a some sort of weird deal with the inappropriate. I don't know. It sounded like a Sharon Moore almost.
yeah, and then they end up just actually still winning.
Yeah, yeah. So, but hey, we did cash our dog with Washington State, so it didn't really matter either way.
The Cougs, baby. What a win. What a way to finish
Yeah.
off the season.
And our parlay,
Oh, part bet of the year for the pod, no doubt.
bet of the year, defensive score, defensive or special teams touchdown paired with Malachi Tony from Miami to score a touchdown. Defensive touchdown was in the Oklahoma Alabama game, which would have been 2 weeks ago. Um, Absolutely incredible parlay. I mean, and there was times in the game where I mean, I know for the Oklahoma and Alabama game where we needed the defensive or special team score, there was almost two block kicks. There was
Yep.
almost some strip sacks. Um, so there was like multiple times in that game that I thought we were going to get it and ended up not getting. I'm like, well, that was our chance. And then sure enough, we got a pick six. Uh, and then of course you go ahead with the Miami stuff.
Yeah, we're in the have Malachi Tony anytime touchdown in the Miami game, and it's just a low scoring game, right? It's no touchdowns all day. So at some point in the first half, A&M they punt it to Miami. Malachi Tony is returning the punt, and he gets shoestring tackled after like a 50-yard return, gets hit on like the 20. So we're like, just like that last game, we're like, oh, that's our chance. And then it's still 3-3 with 5 minutes to go in the game, no touchdowns, and we have an anytime touchdown score. And Tony on like a jet sweep scores the only touchdown of the game for us to cash, game winning touchdown.
Yeah, and that was one of those games I felt super good about taking a prop because like it was so points were so expected. The over under was high, both very explosive offenses. I expected points. Turns out there was the wind, the 30-40 mile an hour wind that just did not help. But hey, we got it and it was an incredible parlay.
I wrote down a couple things from the Miami Texas A&M game because even though it was super low scoring, I thought it was the best game watchability wise in the first round. First off, is Johnny Manziel the first ever no show in game day history?
That was ridiculous. But then I don't know. I was kind of making my impression on it because it sounded like he was at the Jake Paul fight in Miami the night before. Um, but then he said something. He came out with something on Instagram of like how it's not what like people don't know the real reason. It's not. So I don't know what to believe. I don't know if the real reason ever came out. I thought he was kind of a shithead for like missing game day because of a party, but it sounds like maybe it wasn't a party. I don't know. Maybe he's kind of stretching the truth a little bit.
Yeah, don't- I don't know. It's hard just if it wasn't Johnny Manziel, I feel like it would be like, oh,
Exactly.
okay, your flight got
Exactly.
canceled, but it's Johnny Manziel.
Quick pivot to Alex Caruso. I love it.
Do you think he was just like there and they're like, hey, dude, we need somebody?
You could tell he had no research done because I was talking with I was over in Bozeman, obviously, and Alex Caruso was making his pick for the Brawl of the Wild Part 2 in the playoff game. And he's like, well, Montana beat him earlier, so I'm going with the Cats this time. But, like, obviously he had his facts wrong. Can't blame the guy for coming in just no notice. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good audible for sure.
Yeah, and who knows? He probably was cocktailing in the crowd before he even knew he had to go on game day. He's like, "Yeah, we got a 10 a.m. game. We're starting at 6." And then at 8:45, after probably 8 fireballs, he gets the call that Johnny's a no-show.
Well, Johnny
Oh,
Manziel, if I were to make a guess, I would have guessed Johnny Manziel was probably just finishing his night from the night before when game day started. So
yeah, yeah. He was at the club and was like, looked at his phone. He was like, "Oh shit, I missed my flight."
I can't make it to College Station from Miami in 45 minutes, unfortunately.
Oh, but dude, that Miami A&M game you brought up the wind. It was just missed field goal after missed field goal. The closest field goal for going in the entire first half was the field goal that the kid that game day pulled down made him kick a 35 yarder in the
Yeah,
stadium. That was the closest one going in.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it looked like brutal conditions, brutal golf conditions, man. Oh my goodness. We would have been
Oh,
fighting for our life out there.
no wonder Scheffler's so dialed in with that wind, bitting the little Texas.
Yeah.
But
Did
I
you
got I got to take.
okay.
Malachi Tony is my favorite player that's left in the playoffs right this season to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably I mean, that's to watch, yeah. I would say a lot of people's is probably Fernando Mendoza, but to watch Malachi Tony's way more fun to watch than Fernando Mendoza.
And isn't he like 17 or 18? He's
Yeah, he's
extremely young.
18 now, but I know he started the season and he was 17.
Yeah, I don't know how he'll pan out in the pros when he gets there. Obviously, he will be in the NFL, but he just feels like a Tyreek Hill in college to me.
Yeah, kind of same build as Tyreek Hill, blazing fast wheels. Uh,
Dreads number
get
10.
him out, get him out in space one on one, and that's where they make their money.
Yeah, dude, and they put him in like Wildcat because he was a high school QB, and they're like rolling him to the right, and he just three pass attempts a game usually.
Well, looks like Illinois is actually up 17-7 on Tennessee right now in the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. I have Tennessee. I think majority have Tennessee, but there are a few Indianas. I saw you or Illinois, and I saw you had Illinois.
Yeah, I was on Tennessee. I'll tell you how I picked Illinois is because I was going back and forth all week on the Missouri Virginia game, and you had Virginia, and I was like, I'm just gonna go SEC and go safe, even though all season I was like, why are Missouri and Tennessee ranked? Why are Missouri and Tennessee ranked? So this time I was like, I have to go against the SEC team here, so I'm going Illinois.
Hey, that's good logic. Any logic aside of the actual football that's being played on the field is the best. It's
Yeah.
like March Madness, man. Like the less you know, the better it seems like. Which it's actually I don't know. I feel like I know more than the average fan, and I'm doing pretty good. But there are those couple people at the top that I know don't watch as much football as I college football as I do. But they're whooping. They're whooping.
Yeah, I mean, got a 100-point deficit here. I mean, the points remaining is still all that matters, but you're down 100 points at this point, and you're like, I need to get a lot of games right still.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you just have to like go on a run. I feel like I like because for what I started 5 or 6 in a row right off the rip.
Yeah,
Started really good and then got into a cold stretch, and then it's kind of just the ebbs and flows of the Bull Mania. You go on runs and then you get really cold and then you go on runs, and whoever has more runs and more sustained runs, it seems like it's going to win this thing.
yeah, doing the runs. I like that. Bowl mania. That and college hoops.
Exactly. Well, we've got quite a few games. I mean, depends what we want to talk. We've obviously got the playoff games for the second round that we're going to talk about. New Year's Eve that kicks off tomorrow with Miami, Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and then moving into New Year's Day, where we've got 3 out of the 4 being played on New Year's Day, starting early, I believe, 10 a.m. or so.
Yeah. One thing before we hop into the game, since yeah, it was because we recorded and then it was the Brawl of the Wild 2.0. You went. How was it?
Pretty electric environment. I mean, I don't know if it was I would assume it's a attendance record for MSU. Uh, the stadium was full. We were actually in a decent spot, kind of on the north would have been northwest corner of the stadium. So that was kind of a good spot that we locked down early. Stayed there for that. Ended up going out for halftime. Oh, one thing that did happen during the game, well, before the game, would have been the delayed flyover by about 10 to 15 seconds. That was pretty funny. So it was way after the national anthem. And then obviously the football game was great. Close game. Well, Cats jump out to an early lead. I'm sure everybody saw it, 20-3. The Grizz storm back, take a lead early in the third, and then Cats get up in the second half and kind of just run away with it. It kind of seemed like the Grizz just kind of quit once they got down 2 possessions. Um, and then the greatest play in Bobcat history, probably that Taco Dowler catch on 3rd and 20, way backed up into your own territory. Taco Dowler makes an incredible play, ends up scoring a touchdown after getting basically knocked out or the drive before, I believe, and then coming back into the game. So hats off to Bozeman. Hats off to them. We'll be cheering for them in the national championship. At least I will be. I think a lot of Montana people will be anyway, just for that Montana sake of things. But I believe they're already down there, or they left today. So looking forward to watching them play next Monday. It looks like they're 10.5 point favorites against Illinois State, which I will be hammering.
Yeah, I definitely will be on that as well. I don't know if we can put that as a lock, but that might be like a lock 2.0. We kind of called it. I think we said the winner of the Cat Grizz 2.0 we're going to be about a 10-point favorite. I don't know if the Grizz would be 10, but I think they would have still been over 7 at least if they made this game. But yeah, as obviously I was cheering for the Grizz watching it, and that 3rd and 20, the Grizz kind of did have the momentum at that point in the game too, and it was like, oh, okay, they're going to get the ball back, good field position here, and wow, that was a
Late and
silencer.
over the middle.
Yeah, but silent. Missoula went silent, and Bozeman had an earthquake. The two different sides of the state. That was one of the biggest plays, like you said, probably the biggest play in Cat history, and maybe the most memorable play in the Cat Grizz Brawl of the Wild game, besides arguably the fumble on the one. I would say.
Yeah, that's the most memorable play that comes to my mind when I think of the Brawl Wild is the fumble on the one in Missoula. But now I'm going to think of this. It was that was crazy.
And you were there, but I saw the videos. The Monet Monet that they do, that was about as good of a stadium chant. That was like prime Dixieland delight in Tuscaloosa.
It Dude, it really is. And that is like, we love FBS football and we love the SEC. You just mentioned Dixieland Delight. All of that's really cool with 100,000 people. But when you have 22,000 people and every single one of them is bought in, it's also really cool. And Moni Moni's the same way. Uh, just everything about it. It just felt like everybody was so locked in the entire time. The chants, the crowd pop when Dowler caught that, one of the greatest crowd pops I've been a part of, as far as volume of people. So really fun atmosphere, really fun game day, and then obviously a really great bar scene to end the night, minus a few things, but that's neither here nor there. um,
All in all.
yeah. Let's see. All right, let's get into it. Do you want to talk any bowl games that are happening either tonight? We still have USC TCU, and then there's a couple tomorrow that kick off before the CFP. Do you want to talk any of those before we dive into the CFP?
Yeah, maybe we can just like kind of mention them. I don't know if we necessarily, I don't have really any picks on them. I'm, I don't know about you. I'm very excited for Iowa Vandy. That doesn't feel like an opt-out bowl at all. That feels like everybody's going to be guns blazing there. And I don't know about you. In bowl season in total, there has been opt-outs, but it hasn't felt as bad. Are you kind of getting that vibe too? That I'm wondering if a lot of these guys have it worked in their NIL deals that you must play in the bowl game.
Yeah, and I think that's a program to program kind of thing. It's it's something that I don't know. I like one game that really comes to mind is Washington Boise State. Uh, but Washington didn't really have any opt outs, and that was shocking to me. And it did make me beg the question of, is Washington implementing this NIL, or you must play in the bowl game to get your NIL or to get 100% of your NIL? Maybe you get a percentage cut out of it. I don't know how all that's structured, but I would be interested to know, because it does feel like there are some opt outs and there's obviously some transfer portal. There's obviously coaches too, but it doesn't feel that crazy, I guess. I mean, there's some games compared to others, I guess, that you'll get the occasional uh, game where it's a complete clusterfuck, but for the most part, it's not too bad. And yeah, that's what I've seen. That's what I'm seeing with some of these games coming up. Like you mentioned, Iowa Vanderbilt, two teams that were really pretty darn good throughout the regular season, and only having a couple bad losses, or I mean, not bad losses, but losses to good teams, I should say. Um, so that one, yeah, that one's going to be incredible. I actually am having a really tough time picking a side on that one. And then you've got USC TCU later tonight at 7 o'clock, which will be releasing or be kicking off pretty much right when we're releasing this podcast. You've got Malachi Lemon, who's out for USC. That's an opt out. He's an NFL guy. But then you've got the quarterback for USC coming back next year, actually. So the verbiage they use now is re signed, which I hate. But yeah, Jordan Mailava coming back next year. I don't know. Should be a good game. I think USC is a favorite. One thing to actually talk about in that game real quickly is Lincoln Riley. His bowl record and the points that he puts up in bowl games through the last 5 years is actually incredible. I mean, he's like 42, 35, 40, 37, all points putting up. Just peaking at the wrong time, it feels like, for kind of like some of these NFL teams, like the Bengals and uh,
Thanks.
yeah, at the wrong time. But gosh, for the last 5 years, he has really put up some points in bowl games. So keep an eye on that tonight.
Yeah, and you know what game I'm curious about? Two of them, both, and it's honestly mainly two teams. One, what's Michigan rolling out there with everything that's going on? And two, the they kind of go correlate with each other. Utah. Utah was a
Yeah.
big favorite, but they kind of have there's drama there. It sounded like I think you and I were both under the impression that Whittingham was kind of stepping down on his own terms. I don't think that was the case. I think he was actually wanting to come back to Utah for another year, and they were like, "Well, you said you were going to step down, blah blah blah," and he was like, "Screw it, I'm going to Michigan." And Michigan, honestly, that's a great hire.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a pretty good news actually. I like the fit. Um, but yeah, you're totally right. Michigan doesn't sound like they've got a lot of guys in the portal as of right now. They've got a couple guys, but it sounds like they're going to have most of their team for this game. Where on the other side of the ball, Texas sounds like they'll be missing 7 out of their 11 highest snap count guys on defense. And so I mean, that's a pretty big deal, especially with that Texas defense that's been pretty solid all year long, really. Uh, so Michigan should be a really good game, a better game than I had originally thought when we got the Sharon Moore news. And then, yeah, Utah on the other side of things, a game that I had very high in Bowl Mania as like my 43 pointer, 15 and a half point spread. It's now come down to 14, which I think is absurd. I've been hearing that Nebraska's live to win this game. I don't know if I necessarily believe that just because of no Raiola. Nebraska really struggled down the stretch of the season a little bit after Raiola got hurt. Uh, I think Utah probably still wins, but I do think this is a close game and a lot closer than it might have been 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I definitely agree. At this point, I think anything over 14, in my opinion, anything over 10 is just way too many points for this game
Yeah,
because I don't think, I mean, Matt Rule, he feels like you said, program to program, he feels like we're finishing the season. And let's be honest, the last 10 years for Nebraska, they're not like necessarily a playoff or bust program. Like making a bowl game, a pretty decent bowl game, and getting a good win, and getting what would this be? Are they 8-4? So maybe 9 wins on the season. Like that's a great season at this point for
yeah,
Nebraska.
they're 7-5, so it would be an
Okay.
8-win season and kind of an underwhelming season to their standard coming into the year. Just you got a great quarterback, a great coach, and it's his third year, I believe. So he's starting to get his guys. And then obviously the detrimental injury to Raiola. It's tough. It's not as good as they would have wanted, but I still think Nebraska's getting better every year, and they'll be better than 7-5 next year, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they'll get a QB in there. They got the dough. They got kind of the tradition. I'm not worried about. I honestly think Nebraska will probably upgrade at QB. I don't know if that's a bold take, but if I were to guess, I don't know if Nebraska fans were too heartbroken when Raiola transferred.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's get into it. Starting off with the Wednesday night New Year's Eve game being taking place down at AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, Arlington, Texas. Actually, the not the real Cotton Bowl, even though this is the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, it is not the real Cotton Bowl. I just wanted to note that. Low total here, 40 and a half, where Miami and Ohio State face off. Ohio State laying 9.5 here. Series tied at 2-2. I don't know. Big spread, very low total. So don't really know what to make of this. Miami's offense versus Texas A&M's defense was not anything to write home about last week. I don't know if that's credit to Texas A&M's defense. I don't know if that's credit to the weather. I kind of discredit Miami for that. You only put up 10 points in that game, and I just think it should have been better. I don't know if the market is reflecting that in this line or not. Um, so I don't really know what to make of it, but to me, this line is crazy, and it's crazy for a reason. And that's Ohio State being as good as they are on offense. And I don't really know if Miami has got the dudes to keep up with them. They've got a really good D line, got a really good O line, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to for me is Ohio State is arguably the best team in the country, even though they lost to Indiana. And you've got Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck on the other side of things. So I like Ohio State here. It's not my favorite play on the board, but if I had to pick a side here, I'd go Ohio State laying the big number with the 9.5.
Yeah, I'm very interested to watch this game. I mean, Miami, they do have the line of scrimmage guys. We've said it all year, so I don't think they're necessarily going to get pushed around. But I mean, Ohio State, I saw a thing that pretty much Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are back to 100%, which I don't think they were in the Big Ten championship, even though Jeremiah Smith still went off against Indiana. Just even the difference between 85% Jeremiah Smith and 100% Jeremiah Smith is crazy. I mean, 85% Jeremiah Smith still probably the best player in the country. As funny as that is, I I kind of like the over. I know it's a low total and it's scary, but you're in a dome. It's going to be perfect environment. You have Ohio State's a great offense, and you still have weapons for Miami. So I don't think they're going to, get shut out or anything. I don't know if I really love a side. I could see Ohio State blowing them out. I mean, do you think what would Miami have to do to win this game?
Uh, to me, it to me it's score points really. I mean, I think stops are kind of limited in this kind of game. In any game you play Ohio State in, really, I think stops are kind of limited, and you kind of got to rely on your offense to just keep up with Ohio State's offense. And I don't know if they can do that. I think Ohio State's defense is elite. Uh, Carson Beck is a good quarterback, but like Cristobal, I don't know. I don't know if Cristobal can do it. And on the same note, Cristobal is getting what, 9 days to prepare, whereas
Yeah.
Ryan Day has had 20 days to prepare. So that's just another thing I like for Ohio State. I think Ryan Day is an underrated coach, honestly. They win a lot of games, and I think people credit that to the talent that Ohio State has, and not as much to Ryan Day. But I think Ryan Day is an elite coach, and giving him all that time to prepare with the talent that he has, arguably a better Ohio State roster this year than last year. So they know what the expectation is. They have one goal in mind, and in order to get to that goal, they have to win this game. So Ohio State.
Yeah, and like you said, Ryan Day, he's always been great in the playoffs. I'm thinking of like they lost to Georgia a few years ago in that classic when it was still a four-team playoff. But Georgia was, I mean, they won by 70 in the next round. Like that pretty much was the national championship, and Day gave them all they wanted. I think pretty much played them tougher than anybody else. So yeah, I think I like Ohio State. I was thinking if Miami's going to win this game, they're going to need like a pick six, punt return. They're going to need some sort of magic. I mean, I think it's more likely they win this game than the two G5 schools win, but still highly unlikely.
Yeah, I'm with you for sure. Uh, Sweet, pretty quick and easy there. Moving
Yep.
on to New Year's Day, where we have three of the four playoff games starting at 10 a.m. here with the Texas Tech in the Capital One Orange Bowl being taken place in Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami Gardens, Florida. Total of 51 and a half. Texas Tech catching 2.5 points here. And Oregon has a series record of 3-0 against Texas Tech. To me, this game, I'll tell you. So, first of all, to start, I'm on Texas Tech plus the points. And I'll tell you why. One, I think that Texas Tech is really good. I think that their defense is really good. They have a very seasoned quarterback with Bear Morton. And then on the other side of things, Oregon. I mean, they they beat JMU, but they allowed about 500 yards of offense, 34 points if I'm correct. And now they're going to go go play a top five offense with Texas Tech, where they've struggled against JMU, they've struggled against Indiana, some of these other elite offenses. Oregon struggles against, and I think this is a perfect spot for Texas Tech to make that Oregon defense really not look that great. Uh, the public loves Oregon, which makes me even like Texas Tech a little bit more. And then the final thing here is Texas Tech has lost one game against the spread for the entire season. And I think it was Arizona State,
Yep, when they
the
lost
only game they
outright.
lost. So the only game they lost, they haven't covered. And I think that speaks volumes about a team when it's sustained for an entire season, not a very small sample size like 2 or 3 games, but over 11, 12, 13 games when when you only have one game that you lost against the spread, that just speaks volumes. So Texas Tech catching the 2.5 here is my prediction for the game. Early game. Set your alarm. New Year's Day, everybody. You're gonna have to get up and get active early.
Yeah, this game's going to be great. It's, I think, the closest spread on the slate. That was okay. One, Oregon minus 21 was brutal as my lock.
That was on
99-yard drive to end the game from JMU. So I don't know how much I read into the. I mean, JMU did just go up and down the field on them the entire second half. It was kind of shocking.
they put up points and numbers.
Yeah. And it is a tough travel spot for Oregon. Additionally, it being a 10 a.m. game, our time, so 9 a.m. for Oregon. I know it's a little later over in Miami, so I bet they've been down there and getting adjusted. I think I'm going to go with the Ducks here. I don't know why. I just kind of am going to ride the Ducks a little bit here. I think they had their one loss to Indiana. Besides that, they keep winning. This is like the most coin flippy game in a long time that I can remember in the playoffs. Where, in my mind, this is just a pick 'em. Like I'll just go Oregon money line is my prediction.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. I mean, we've talked about it all year long that Oregon is the winner of the regular season and the postseason kind of falls apart. Does that scare you a little bit?
You know, it does, but at the same time, we don't really have any sort of sample size on Texas Tech. And I do think Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech head coach, is a very good coach. But Lanning has been in these big games a little bit more. I I am having a tough time pick this game. I don't love a side. I am going to go Oregon, but yeah, I don't know. Dan Lanning, you probably are going to want to win this one, or people might start raising those flags of the James Franklin, can he win the big one? But I I don't know. I'm going to go Oregon. Just I'm going to trust him here. It feels like this is going to come down to the last possession of the game.
And besides JMU, when's the last time Oregon won a playoff game? I just tried to
What's
do a quick Google search and I couldn't get anything just immediately, but I'm
was
trying to
it the
think.
I think it was. I know they beat in the very first year of the four-team playoff. They beat Jameis Winston when he had like that backwards. Remember when he like tripped and threw the ball backwards, and then I believe they lost to Zeke Elliott in Ohio State in the championship, and that was like 2014, I believe.
Yeah, that
So it's
sounds
been
right.
a while.
Yeah, it's been a really long time, and I know they just won against JMU, but I mean, besides that, I
I
can't
I
remember.
actually I did have a question for you, kind of looking. I know the format's different, so it's not really comparing apples to apples, but last last year in the playoffs, every team that had a bye lost. If you remember that, being
Yeah,
Boise was one of them. Notre Dame beat
Georgia,
Georgia. Oregon got smoked by Ohio State, and
and then it was in
ASU.
Yeah, Penn State beat ASU.
No, No, Texas beat ASU. Remember that game was electric. That was the Scatterbo
That's
game.
right. Yeah, that's right. And that kicker missed like 2 field goals down the stretch. Sark with hands on the shoulders, looking him dead in the eyes, begging for his freaking job, it looked like.
Yeah, it was like a 4th and 20. That was probably the best game of the playoffs last. That or Notre Dame Penn State. Those were the two best games last year from the
Yeah,
watchability.
I would agree. I would agree.
So, God, this game though, what a way to start off your new year.
Yeah, gonna be a great game. Uh, High total in Florida, so weather shouldn't be a problem here either. Uh, will they have the top on that thing? Hard Rock?
I think Hard Rock's open because actually I know Hard Rock's open because remember at the beginning of the year we kept betting on Miami and they'd get like 3 hour lightning delays.
Oh, that's right.
We'd be like,
Yeah.
we're trying to sweat out minus 32 and a half against South Florida, and they're in a 2.5 hour lightning delay in the third quarter.
Yeah, the next slate's turning on, and they're still have a game to be played.
Yeah, so I mean, do you have anything else on this game? Who do you trust more, Dante Moore or Baron Morton?
Well, that's the thing is I kind of do trust Barrett Morton more just because of the senior aspect. I mean, this is a farewell tour for him. He's not coming back next year, so if this is his last opportunity to make a mark in college, make a memory in college, um, and do something that he's wanted to do his entire life, I'm sure, is win a college football national championship. So I trust him a little bit more. I know Dante Moore is a great quarterback and projected number 2 quarterback off the board in the draft this year, but uh, I think the veteran status speaks volumes in college football, and especially in big games like this. So the other thing, we've mentioned it all year, and we mentioned it going into the playoffs, is I really think defense is going to matter in this playoffs, and Texas Tech has the better defense. I don't think anybody would really argue against that at this point in the season. So until Oregon can prove it, then we'll see what happens on New Year's Day.
And here's one other thing that just popped in my head. You talking about Texas Tech's against the spread record. The game that they lost, Morton was out, if you remember that, against ASU. So he is
Yeah,
undefeated against the spread himself,
true, true.
which is crazy.
It is crazy. Whenever Barry Morton is playing a football game, we got to just auto pick. But you're on Oregon here. I'm on Texas Tech. That will be a great game to kick off the New Year's Day. Got 2 other games here for you. 2 o'clock kickoff uh, in the Rose Bowl down in Pasadena, California, where it looks like it's supposed to be raining actually all day. Uh, Total of 48 and a half. Bama taking on Indiana. Indiana laying 7, I believe was the number. This one has kind of moved around a bit. Uh, and this will be a great game also. I know it's a full touchdown spread, but I still think it's a great game. These teams have never played each other before. So that is something to note with this. This will be the first matchup and a really fun matchup where you've got Kurt Cignetti, former wide receiver coach at Alabama back in the Nick Saban days, and then uh, DeBoer, who actually came from Indiana before going to Washington with Penix. So a little bit of familiar territory, and I don't know if you want to call him the ex for these coaches, but kind of the ex-girlfriend with these two coaches. So it'll be a fun matchup. Couple things I've got written down for this game is Indiana had a D lineman go down celebrating actually after that Big Ten championship, and he's not just a nobody. He's a very solid player for them. I believe he won some awards actually for the year. So big, very detrimental piece going down for Indiana. You hate to see that. Really sucks for that kid too. Not even getting hurt in the action, in the line of duty, as some might say. But and then DeBoer, he's been great his entire career as an underdog, and that that makes me want to side with Bama. The only thing I am a little scared is Bama can't run the ball. We've talked about it all year long. They're a very one-dimensional team. I know Ty Simpson can sling it. They've got great playmakers, great speed on the outside with Ryan Williams, some other guys. But if it's going to rain and Bama can't run the ball, that hurts them. It doesn't work in their favor at all. But I still keep coming back to the fact that I think that Bama is kind of one of those teams that, is on the bubble of maybe getting in or getting out of the playoff, and they kind of make a little run. So I'm going to go Bama plus the 7. I don't know if they win this game because of the rain aspect, and I just think that hurts their passing game and it hurts them and what they want to do as a team. So I'm going to go Bama to keep it close, plus the 7. But I think Indiana gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, just quite a few things on this game. First, imagine 2 years ago, we're telling each other when Indiana hires Signetti and Bama hires DeBoer that, all right, you two are going to be playing in the second round of the college football playoff, and Indiana is going to be a touchdown favorite against
Yeah, they're going to be
Alabama.
a 1 seed.
Yeah, they are going to be the only undefeated team left at this
I would
point
have
in
said
the season.
you're smoking crack. It was what I would have said.
Yeah, and the rain, one, this feels like un-American to have rain at the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is supposed to be perfect weather. It's like
Right?
it's the Rose Bowl. We've been saying this is where the national championship should be because it's perfect weather. It's just
Oh,
everything. And
iconic stadium.
I got a little side story for you here that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the game, but kind of. So I'm flying back from Boise to Kalispell this morning, 6 in the morning, and they get on the intercom at Boise at 6 in the morning, and they said, "We're sorry to announce the Boise to Los Angeles flight is canceled." And there's a group of about 15 Indiana fans in the Boise airport that are like just decked out in Indiana gear. They're just scrambling. I mean, they're going to the game, right? There's no other way. Like they're going to LA in
Oh yeah.
Indiana. Oh,
Dude, that's
I felt
crazy. I bet you my life savings that they're in a freaking rental car on the way down there right now. They heard that news and they hightailed it out of there to Enterprise. They're getting their little passenger van and they are driving straight to Pasadena.
I'm just like it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm barely awake, and I'm just like I'm not having as bad a morning as those people are because they've been waiting their whole damn life for this.
Oh,
Indiana
dude,
in the Rose Bowl.
I just think if that would have happened to us in any of our trips to go into games, I mean, it's always in the back of your mind. And we almost had it happen stepping out of TSA in Houston on the way down to Baton Rouge this week. I thought we were gonna miss the flight and have to do the same thing, get a rental car and drive from Houston to Baton Rouge. Thankfully, that would have been a lot shorter drive than Boise to Pasadena. Uh, which it's actually funny because I was thinking about it the other day when LSU and Houston were playing, and I was like, oh, those were the last 2 airports that we were in.
We almost had to pivot and go to Houston Rice as our game of year.
No kidding. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't. For the game itself, we're kind of opposites today, which is good. At least one of us will win some games. I'm going to go Indiana here. I think Alabama not being able to run the ball is going to hurt them. I look back at that Oklahoma game. Oklahoma jumped out to a 17-0 lead quick, and it felt like Oklahoma lost that game a little bit more than Alabama won it. I mean, Mateer, I'm a big Mateer guy, but he really did not play well at all coming down the stretch in that game. That pick six that cashed our bet was about as bad of a pick six as you can see at that level of college football.
Yeah, it was almost kind of like the Brawl of the Wild Part 2 in a way. Like Oklahoma jumps out to a huge lead, being at home early, and then Alabama starts storming back, and then eventually takes the lead and kind of holds on to it. Oklahoma goes cold on offense. It kind of seemed like the moment just got a little bit too big for them. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it was a great game. It really was.
Great game. And I saw a tweet about that game, going back to that game for some reason that made me die. They said they brought out 50 Cent at Oklahoma because Oklahoma only plays 2 quarters.
Yeah, what was up with that? It wasn't even halftime. It was like a timeout on the field. It was something, and 50 Cent comes out. Maybe it was the third, fourth quarter, but I mean, he was out there longer than just the third, fourth quarter intermission.
And they had to they had to cut pretty much his whole thing on TV because I heard he didn't hold back a single, like, just came out saying many men didn't leave a word out of there in front of 80,000 Oklahoma fans.
Yeah, great environment. And I think whatever the venue is for the Friday night first college football playoff game of the year is like it's a bucket list no matter where it is. I mean, Notre Dame last year, of course you get the weird like delayed late afternoon college game day into a night game. The weather's always a little bit iffy. You had a snow game in Indiana last year. Uh, but gosh, that Friday night game, that first playoff game of the year on campus is a bucket list game for me, and it's a tough one to get to because it's short notice. Like all the planning and stuff has to happen very quick, and we'll have to put it on the list one of these years.
Yeah, I going back to the more home games like you're talking about, the college football playoff, there's so much disagreement. Some people think this, some people think that. You and I are different in some, but I think where everybody is the same is we need more home games. This round we should be playing at Ohio State, at Georgia, at Indiana. Imagine Alabama playing at Indiana this week, what that environment would look like.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah, it'd be so fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go Indiana here, and a lot of it has to do with the weather because I went and looked at it, and it doesn't look like it's a light rain. I think it's gonna be shit and rain all day, like potential floods in California. So I don't know. I just think Mendoza, he's gonna play smart. I don't know if he lights up the box score or anything. Like, give me Ty Simpson to throw a pick in a bad time, and it's gonna end up burning him. Now, the 7 points kind of scares me.
Run it
That's a
back,
lot.
defensive touchdown. um, okay, well, we're on opposite sides, which actually makes me want to bet all of these games because I mean,
I'm that
it should
bad.
make you want to bet them too because I've been cold. It's like we've both been so cold. One of us is going to win, and yeah, so we might be betting all these. Moving on to the last game of the evening, where this one kicks off at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Georgia taking on Ole Miss, a Lane Kiffin-less Ole Miss. Georgia laying 6.5 here, big total of 55.5. And this takes place in the Caesars Superdome down in New Orleans, Louisiana. These teams very familiar with each other. I mean, big SEC matchup here. They played earlier this year where we both agree that it was one of the greatest games of the entire year where they went up and down the field.
Yep.
Georgia actually got the win 43-35, but it was an incredible game. The series of this matchup is 34-13 with a few ties. Georgia has the edge on that. This is all Georgia for me. And it's you don't even, I mean, I'm not even thinking twice on this one. Obviously, Ole Miss does not have Lane Kiffin. I think that plays a role. Sure, they looked great in their first playoff game, but that was against Tulane. And that was kind of what we talked about with Ohio State earlier. You are now giving Kirby Smart, very defensive minded coach, 20 days to prepare against Pete Golding with Ole Miss. I don't think Pete Golding is that kind of guy where he's going to be able to just go against Kirby Smart, short notice, in a huge environment, huge playoff game, massive impact here. This is Georgia all day, minus the 6.5. It was Tulane last week, and now they're looking up, and now they've got Georgia coming off rest. They're healthy. They're ready to go. It's really cut and dry simple for me.
Yeah, in Georgia, they finished the year so strong too. I mean, they crushed Alabama in the SEC championship. I know they didn't play great against Georgia Tech, but they smoked Texas too. And the edge, like you said, between Kirby Smart and Pete Golding, Kirby's going to do stuff just to mess with this game, screw it up. I don't know if it's going to be a fake punt or if he's going to do one of those plays where he's going to go for it, call a timeout, make it look like they're punting, run the team on, just little things like that where he's going to try to find an edge in this game. I'm with you. I'm Georgia all the way. I do wish Kiffin was coaching this game. Just I think it would make it a better game because Kiffin's such a good play caller. I think they would be able to go up and down the field on him. Georgia's just better. Give me Georgia. We talked about it. Ole Miss is sitting duck in this round the whole way.
Yeah, I I love it. That is all we've got for you as far as the playoff games. We do, however, have Lock Dog Parlay to finish off the night here. Do you want to start with the parlay first?
Yeah, I do. That
Okay.
parlay was awesome last
Yeah,
week.
and I'm going to stay with the same note here. We're going to go a little juice and give me Arizona State against Duke on the money line. I believe they are underdogs in this game, about 3.5 point underdogs. I don't know what they are on the money line, but Arizona State, I think the wrong team's favored in this matchup. It's that simple. Duke had their ACC championship. That was their last game of the year. Now give me Arizona State.
Dude, now I kind of want to go back to a prop. Do you
Whatever
like
you
that?
want. Well, sure.
You know what? How about I'm just gonna go simple prop. I think there's gonna be points in that Oregon Texas Tech game. I'm gonna go with the running back for Texas Tech, Cameron Dickey, anytime touchdown. Just keep it
Okay.
simple. Hopefully this is. Oh, let's see. We'll get that ASU game tomorrow, won't we? So
Yep.
we'll be
Yeah,
alive. All
ASU
right.
games tomorrow.
I like that. I also like ASU in that spot. I think Dillingham, he's just a stud. I love Dillingham.
Yeah, and I know ASU doesn't have Levitt, but they didn't have Levitt for the last 5 games of the year. It's not anything new. So let's do it. Let's run it back with a player prop and getting a little juice and see what happens. Hopefully we can get lucky 2 weeks in a row.
I love it. That hit last week was just that was probably my favorite bet we've had all year, and it's not close.
Yeah, that was it was pretty awesome cheer bet too. I mean, because it's stuff that you don't really know if it's going to happen. I mean, it could happen, but you're not holding your breath for it to happen by any means. And when it happens, it's just that much more exciting, you know?
The thing I like about it that we're doing again is we're getting the hard leg out of the way early.
Early first one.
So because last week when your defensive touchdown hit, I'm like, if I choke this freaking parlay on a minus 130 anytime touchdown, I will never forgive myself.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. It's anytime touchdown scores, really, the odds don't mean anything. I mean, you don't
I
know
mean,
who's gonna score a touchdown.
if we knew that game was going to be 10-3, the odds on Malachi Tony should have been like plus 7 for him to score the
Oh,
only touchdown of the game.
right? And first touchdown score, actually.
Imagine if we did that.
First
First touch.
touchdown score. That would have been
Go
plus 700, 800.
all the way to the end of the game. That would.
That would have been an all timer.
All right. Do you want to go lock or dog here?
I'll go lock. Really simple. Georgia minus 6.5.
All right. I'm gonna go the Hoosiers. I'm gonna buy into the hype here a little bit and go Indiana minus 7.
Okay, I like it. And
Let's see.
dog, you know, Indiana, Bama was about to be my dog, uh, but I just don't know about that rain. I think that really kills them. And then, you have Arizona State, who also could have easily been my dog.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go to a game that's tomorrow. Uh, and give me Iowa on the money line against Vanderbilt to ruin Diego Pavia's last career college football game after he was a complete piece of shit after the Heisman ceremony. So
I like that. I'm struggling. I like don't want to fade myself in bowl mania, but part of me wants to go Michigan. Remember Michigan beat Alabama last year, kind of in this almost the exact same bowl game where everybody was
yeah,
writing them off, and they
yeah,
beat
I
them.
do remember that.
But I don't know if I. Part of me wants to go huge and take Nebraska.
I don't
Uh,
hate it at all.
Fuck it,
I thought about
Nebraska.
it.
I'm not gonna pick it on that bowl mania, but I'm going Nebraska for the pod.
I like it, dude. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. And it was kind of like what I was doing towards the end of the year there in the regular season is swing for the fences, man. I mean, what's gonna, worst thing that happens is you lose. I mean, it's who
What's another
cares?
loss at this point? It's a drop in the
Yeah,
bucket.
who cares? All right. Well, I've got Georgia minus the 6.5 as my lock. I've got Iowa on the money line against Vandy as my dog. And we've got a combined parlay of Arizona State on the money line against Duke and Cameron Dickey, running back for Texas Tech to score a touchdown in their game against Oregon.
Sure, and then I have Indiana minus the 7 and Nebraska. We're probably pushing, what would you say? I didn't look at the money line. It's got to be at least plus 300 minimum, I would say.
Yeah,
Probably
it's like
close to
plus
plus
500.
500. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're getting this back to even. Hey, I will say, as we haven't been great on the picks, our dog has really heated up towards the end of the season here.
Yeah, and I love it. It's been absolutely awesome. So only a couple podcasts left for the year, maybe one, maybe
Yeah.
two. We'll see. Um, but we will keep in touch. Do you want to give a quick Bull Mania shout out while we're here?
Yeah, let me pull up. Let's see. We got a lot to go. Will Larson, he's in second. He's just been a staple on top of the leaderboard for what feels like pretty much the entire thing. He was up in the 99th
Eternity.
percentile. Um, Dave Felstedt, I think he's related to one of our buddies here. He's got the lead right now, got a 6 point lead. A little lower on the max points, though. Dayton Bay in third. You're in fourth. I gotta suck my own dick for a sec here. I think I have the best record straight up, 22-7, which is crazy.
I saw
Um,
that.
I I do. It looks like me and my cousin Beachy battling it out for the max points remaining. My Butte Ribo partner.
All you got to do is get every single game right, and you'll win.
If I win out, I win. Connor McCarthy's doing good. Jace DeWalt. Let me see. Let me give out a couple shout outs to like some just good picks. Anybody pick East Carolina? Dude, I also it's so easy to do this. When I went through and made my picks, I picked East Carolina. And then I was like, oh, it's a 12-point spread. I gotta switch to Pitt and pump that up. And then it just burns me.
And then it burned you. Hey, did any who picked Ohio against UNLV? Let's shout them out for a sec.
Let's see here. UNLV,
They don't care
Ohio.
about the drama. They don't care about the coach's scandal. They're just all
Ho-
Ohio.
Todd Hober, those MCC guys, they know he picked Ohio. Don't look at what place he's in. It's last, but
Um,
let's see. It's kind of hard. A couple of these names are like ESPN fans. So let me do here. ESPN. Oh,
yeah.
Beachy picked Ohio. Let's see here. Did anybody go
And,
4 for 4 last week in the playoffs? Let's see that real quick. All
oh,
right. Okay, let me just start with Bama's. Bama Miami is all it's going to take, right?
I know I didn't. One more shout out while you're looking at that.
Sure, sure.
We talked about it, the Rose Bowl. We had him on the show earlier this year, Connor McCarthy. I know him and his family will be down there in Pasadena enjoying the rain and watching the Rose Bowl. So if you're listening, McCarthy's, have fun down there. Safe travels. We will be thinking about you during that Rose Bowl game.
I love that. Connor, if you're listening, take us a video of the teams running on the field. It's our new TikTok trend.
Yeah.
So let's my coworker, Bo Mortensen, 4 for 4. And the Cougs, 5 for 5 in playoff games in my eyes.
The 5 postseason games that really matter.
Yeah, all very similar in the history books, I would say. They'll be talking about the history books. Well, we'll definitely have another episode here, and the next episode we will only have 3 more college football games. So appreciate every single one that you have on your TVs right now. Bless these eyes, bless what we're watching, because we'll be missing it here very soon.
Yep. Thank you all, and enjoy the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day football, and Happy New Year.
Go Cougs.